Pranayama, which is the fourth of the 8 limbs of the yoga. We've been working with number 2 and number 1 primarily thus far. The fourth limb of the yoga is called pranayama, which means control of prana, or life force. And it's concerned with learning how to move prana, or energy, up your spine, get it up into the higher centers. When you really are doing pranayama, when I am into pranayama, in the formal sense, pranayama will take me into every state that I ever got into with LSD. Pranayama is the most powerful method that I use in terms of straight power. Although there were power mantras I use which are just about as powerful, but this is extraordinarily powerful stuff. What I'm going to share with you are the 3 basic breathing techniques to get the process going. You use them for 5-6 months until you get certain clues inside you. The effects of these breathing things are that your breath will become very, very calm all day long. Very gentle and calm. And if you're going to be able to develop a center so you can see how it is, you have to stay right here, calm. And you begin to see how your environment, your breath is your environment. That's one kind of an environment. And if you study a yogi, his breath is always so thin. My teacher can be running up a hill, and you listen to his breath, and I get up to the top of the hill, and his breath is absolutely. Now, besides calming the breath, these exercises in pranayama will simultaneously give you a feeling of lightness all day long. The third thing they will do, and this is very interesting because I thought of these as very trivial things until I started to see how they work. That pranayama is so powerful it starts to affect your diet very strongly. It starts to affect what you can eat when you're really doing pranayama. You got to really get into it, but that's the way it works. It also affects your blood, and it will start to sensitize you to certain nerves in your body. Here's how it works. Now, you may have learned breathing exercises in different ways. That's groovy. Do your own. These are not his versus mine. These are merely a set. There are many paths, and this is one traditional path of breathing. Breath is one of the ways to tune in on prana, that's all. Breath and prana are not necessarily the same. Prana is all energy. Breath is merely one of the corners of it. These 3 exercises, which are called Shitli, Bhastrika, and Narisodan, are to be done on an empty stomach, and they are to be done with, meaning no food for 3 hours and no liquid for an hour. When you are doing a total sadhana, that means you are doing nothing else but your sadhana, but your spiritual work, and everything in your life is designed around that. Then you are able to organize your life so that you could do the breathing 4 times a day at 6, 12, 6, and 12. If you're living in a cave, for example. Most people in the West, at the degree of intensity at which they do their sadhana, can perhaps do it twice a day, and the minimum, of course, is once a day. And perhaps the best time to do it is early in the morning. And if it's to be 2 times a day, it's early in the morning and the evening before you take your evening food, if you're going to take evening food. The head, neck, and chest are kept in a straight line. Now, these 3 breathing exercises are taught in 2 ways. One, they're taught in a very gentle way, and one, they're taught in a much more powerful way, which I started to teach this more powerful way, and then somebody came up to me and said, "You're not supposed to teach that to people. That's dangerous." So I immediately wrote to my teacher, and I said, "I'm not supposed to teach that. That's dangerous." And he wrote back and he says, "It's all right. So I'll teach it to you just the way I know it, because I have a feeling that the danger lies in the way in which it's invested, and I don't feel any danger in any of these. And I'll explain the one I do, which is the one beyond these, and what the dangers are connected with it. Since anything I know, you're welcome to know. Now, the secret or the power method of these is the closing of the Mulbund. The Mulbund is an opening, or it's a set of nerves you activate which tightens a set of muscles. And these muscles, you can experience them. They are 2 fingers width behind the genitals and 2 fingers width in front of the anus. There's a place, which is right down in here, where a series of nerves, it's like a nerve center, and when you pull back and in and up on that, it's like pulling back in the genitals, and when you go to the toilet, when you defecate, you tighten your sphincter afterwards, and it's that same feeling of tightening the sphincter and pulling back in on the genitals. Now, most people have learned through psychoanalysis or one form or another to let all that open. See, otherwise it's known in the culture as being tight-assed or some image like that. And now you're going to learn to close it and keep it closed. Right? And you will keep it closed during the entire 3 breathing exercises. Later on, you'll learn how to keep it closed all the time. So just it automatically stays closed. You just open it when you need to open it. You don't keep it open and close it when you need to close it. Now, at first, when you try to close it, you'll feel a vrrr and a tight, and you can't do it, and you forget, and that's all part of the course. It's all cool. Don't get uptight. It's sometimes helpful to take a little ball of cloth, like a kind of a bigger golf ball made of cloth. Don't use a rock or anything like that. A piece of cloth, and stick it under there so that it presses up on those, and it helps those stay closed. Helps remind you, too, to keep them closed. You can carry your little yoga kit, which includes your earplugs and your little ball of cloth and stuff like that, and your tube for washing out your nose. And then if you get more advanced, you have your long piece of cloth that you swallow when you bring out your rectum and you clean your intestines. Depends on how deep you want to get into the whole program. This is the first round of methodology, so we won't do any rectal cleaning today. So you try to keep the Mulbund closed, and I'll try to remind you about it. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter anything about your age. It doesn't matter anything about your previous anything. It's just whether or not you're ready to do these kinds of things. I started yoga when I was 35, I guess, and I was, I couldn't have sat in this position for more than 10 seconds without excruciating pain. Right? And oh, God, you know that place? And now I just put my body there and leave it there. And that all happened within like 3 months. Of 3 months of just doing it. Just cut out all the, can I do it? Will I do it? Just do it, see? It's just simple as that. Just do it. But get comfortable. Don't just get so that your head, neck, and chest are in a straight line. You can sit in a chair. Doesn't matter. Whichever way you can do your thing most comfortably, so you can get your body cool. the mulbun closed. Now, this particular kind of breath control is all preparatory, and therefore it's all, in this case, it's all upper breathing. It is not lower breathing. You're not breathing down here. It's up in the chest, diaphragm up here. So there is another bund or opening called the Udian bund, which is right here. Now, in different kinds of things, you do different kinds of breathing. And it's not good and evil, it's just different kinds of breathing for different purposes. This particular type of breathing is upper breathing. You close the Udian bund as well. That's where you suck in on your gut just a little bit. Now you can notice that when you let out your air completely, you can suck way in the gut, and when you strengthen those muscles, your stomach starts to go in rather than out or straight. It goes way in under your chest cavity. But at the moment, you just pull it in just a little bit. So you've closed the mulbund and the Udian bund. And then this first one called Sheetli, you extend your tongue and make it into a U. What is it? Now, many people say, I can't do that. Statistics sometimes say that 70% of the population can do it and 30% can't do it. It's been a study of who can make their tongue into a U. See? However, most of the people that say they can't can. They just never have learned how to do it. So all you got to do is stand in front of a mirror and do all the things with your tongue you think you could do until it turns into a U, because there's a place that it turns into a U, but you don't know it, see, because you've never looked at it. So you get there and you get as close to it as you possibly. You extend your tongue quite far, create the U, then breathe the air. You breathe, this is a good thing to do facing the sun or facing the sun in your mind. And you breathe light force in through your tongue. And then you close your mouth and let it out your nose. And the breath is not forced and it's not shallow. It's deep, but not forced deep. Now, one more thing. While you're doing that, you keep your attention focused right here on your ajna. Okay? So that you bring in all this energy and you bring it as fast as you can right to this point. And when you're doing this properly, after you've done even 5 of them, you will feel a huge burning sensation right up here. You'll feel tremendous heat, and you will start to experience light in your forehead. Just from this breathing exercise, after you learn how to do it. Now, you do 5 of them the first time you do it. Then every time you do it, you add 1 more till you get up to 50. So we'll do 5 now. The next time you do it, you do 6, then 7, and so on up to 50. Then you do 50 each time. Right? Close mulbund, close Udian bund, head, neck, and chest in a straight line, in through the mouth, out through the nose, bringing all of the energy right to the place between your eyes. Okay? Do 5 of them. That is called Sheetli. The second of these is called Bhastrika. It is also known as the bellows. You will again close your Udian bund, keep a little bit, keep your mulbund closed, the lower bund closed. Bund means gate. The breathing again is upper chest, upper breathing. You will take short staccato breaths in through your nose, breathing in and out, hitting the in point and the out point as if with a trip hammer. It's as if tick, tut, 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 tut. The game is to keep the in-breath and the out-breath of equal duration and equal intensity. And go as fast as you can comfortably go, keeping those of equal duration and equal intensity. The body, during this entire exercise, is to be kept relaxed. The focus is on the inside of the tip of the nose. That is, right inside where when you breathe, you'll feel air hit the nostrils right here. And when the air hits these nostrils, that's the place right there you focus on. And just put your attention there. You do this for 30 seconds, and you just estimate 30 seconds. Just feel your way through a clock for 30 seconds, or however long 30 seconds. And then at the end of that time, rest for a few moments, and then do another 30 seconds. Evenly, calmly, but in and out trip hammer, like do it just at the rate you can do it. Be or brrr, but fiercely. Don't be too gentle. Fiercely. Head, neck, and chest straight line. Mulbun closed. That one was called Bastrika. The third one is called Nari Sodan. Nari Sodan is ultimately the most powerful of these three, although it appears to be the least, often at the beginning anyway. In this initial way of doing it, you take your third finger, place it on your forehead of your right hand, and then using your thumb on your right nostril and your fourth finger on your left nostril, you now control your two nostrils. Your third finger is right on your ajna. Now you will take air in through the left nostril. Then you will hold it and you will let it out at the right nostril. Then you will take air in the right nostril, hold it, let it out the left nostril. That is, you will change over nostrils before exhalation, not before inhalation. So it's now, during the time you're doing this, watch this whole process, you will visualize, and this is where one-pointedness becomes very important. When you're taking in through your left nostril, you will visualize energy going in your nose and down the left-hand side of your spine to the bottom of your spine. Visualize a long U. And then what happens from where you're sitting, the left side, you start down the U, breathing in the left nostril, then across when you're holding, then let it up and out the right, then in and down the right, across, up and out the left. In and down the left, across, up and out the right, in and down the right, across, up and out the left. Now, what you're doing by doing this is sensitizing yourself to two nerves called the Ida and Pingala, or two sensory pathways. And you will start, at first you'll just fantasy that you're doing this. Later on you'll start to actually experience those places. You'll start to get, I'll tell you, when I go let my breath out, I feel a vrrr. It's just like somebody runs their finger up your spine at first, and then it gets even more powerful later on. Now, the key important place is during the hold that you keep your consciousness right at the bottom of your spine. Right? That's the key one. So that you start in, you take in on a count of 4, hold on a count of 2, let out on a count of 8, hold 2. In 4, hold 2, out 8, hold 2. In 4, hold 2, out 8, hold 2. Then I'll tell you what the next exercise is, even though you only do these 3 for a while. Right? Now, a count of 4 means it's roughly 4 seconds. The Vedas talk about the way of measuring it as you go around your knee and snap your fingers is one way of doing it. You could do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Or you can do it. It's about the same thing. It's roughly counts of right? So it's in, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold 2, in 2, right? It's like Arthur Murray. Mulban closed, head, neck, and chest in straight line. Third finger on the forehead, take in on the left, let out on the right, in on the right, let out on the left. Consciousness goes down the spine, across, and up. Do 5 of them, 5 rounds. In these 3 then, in the first one, you'll do 5, then 6, then 7, up to 50. And you do 50 a day. In the second one, you do 2 units of 30 seconds each. Later, after a few weeks, you can make it 4 units of 30 seconds each. The third one, you start with 5 rounds, and then you increase that one up to 50 rounds. That's the slowest one. The whole thing will take you about 20 minutes when you're doing the full round. It's a way of calming your mind. It's a way of centering. It's a way of getting your body lightened. It's a way of calming your breath. It's a way of changing your blood, which will ultimately start to affect your diet. Don't underestimate its power. Very, very, very useful technique.